Hey everyone, welcome back. Hope you're having a fantastic day so far. It's officially been confirmed by the Acting Commissioner of the Social Security Administration that for millions of beneficiaries, Social Security benefits are going to be delayed starting on a specific date. Now, diving right into today's topic, over the last couple of months, there have been major changes within Social Security, some proposed changes such as the elimination of the Social Security tax at the federal level, potential increases to benefits, and even potential cuts. However, another confirmed change is coming soon that is going to impact millions of beneficiaries. This change will delay benefits, and we are going to discuss why it is happening and what the future holds. According to a report from Truthout, millions of Americans will face benefit delays as Social Security ends phone verification. On Tuesday, the Social Security Administration introduced new measures aimed at curbing alleged fraud within the program. However, these changes will make it harder for millions of Americans to apply for benefits or update their information, advocates warn. If you are not able to visit an SSA office in person, whether due to a lack of reliable transportation, mobility issues, or scheduling difficulties, this change will make it significantly harder to apply for or modify Social Security benefits. For example, if you need to change your bank account due to switching banks or experiencing fraudulent activity, you will no longer be able to do so over the phone. Instead, all changes must be made online, which the SSA claims will be more secure. The administration states that stronger authentication methods will prevent fraud, as there have been cases where individuals used stolen Social Security numbers to change bank account information and divert benefits to their accounts. However, while the SSA argues this method is more secure, it creates significant difficulties for millions of beneficiaries who rely on phone communication for such matters. The acting SSA Commissioner, Leander Duck, praised the new changes as a means of making the program identity-proof against fraud. According to him, these changes are not intended to harm beneficiaries, but rather to ensure that benefits go to the rightful recipients. However, critics argue that this may be more about cost-cutting than fraud prevention. Some believe that these measures could be a veiled attempt to save money by making it harder for people to access their benefits. What do you think? Is this change necessary to prevent fraud, or is it simply an attempt to make it more difficult for people to claim the benefits they are entitled to? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. The changes are set to take effect on March 31 ST, which is just around the corner. Internal agency memos reveal that SSA officials are aware that these changes will negatively impact tens of thousands of people each week. The agency estimates that up to 4.4 million recipients each year will need to visit an SSA office instead of calling, creating logistical challenges for many seniors and disabled individuals. Many recipients, particularly those with disabilities or mobility issues, may find it physically and financially challenging to visit an SSA office, and failure to do so could result in lost benefits. Furthermore, this change is expected to cause extreme service backlogs at physical SSA offices. Elon Musk and his Department of Government Efficiency are reportedly making significant cuts to SSA operations, including staffing reductions and office closures nationwide. Critics argue that these cuts will create chaos within the SSA and make it even more difficult for beneficiaries to access their payments. As offices close, beneficiaries who previously had a short commute to their local SSA office may now face hours-long drives to the nearest location, creating an even greater burden. If you don't have a reliable vehicle or someone to drive you, this could pose a serious problem. Moreover, long wait times and service backlogs are likely to increase dramatically as more people are forced to visit SSA offices instead of handling their benefits over the phone. With SSA offices already struggling to keep up with demand, additional closures and staffing cuts could make the situation unbearable. Many critics argue that these changes are not about preventing fraud but rather about creating inefficiencies that could pave the way for privatizing Social Security. Senate Republicans have also voiced concerns, warning that Musk's approach to Social Security could backfire politically. Some have urged him to stop talking about Social Security, fearing that his statements about the program being a Ponzi scheme and plans to cut SSA workforce levels by 12% could harm the GOP in upcoming elections. Republicans acknowledge that Social Security is a politically sensitive issue and that any changes that make it harder for Americans to access their benefits could hurt them in 2026 midterm elections. Some Republican senators have publicly and privately urged Musk to zip it when it comes to Social Security, warning that any talk of cuts or restructuring plays directly into the hands of Democrats. They argue that Republicans should focus on addressing fraud within the program rather than making broad changes that could be perceived as cutting benefits. Trump has also distanced himself from any suggestion of cutting Social Security, instead emphasizing the need to protect and strengthen the program. What do you think about these changes? Do you believe eliminating phone verification will improve security, or is it an unnecessary barrier that will make it harder for people to access their benefits? How do you feel about SSA office closures and staffing reductions? Do you believe this is a cost-cutting measure disguised as fraud prevention? Let us know in the comments below. That's all we have for today's video. If you found this information helpful, make sure to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss any updates. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.